Hey there guys, welcome back to NIMBY Rails. Today I'm leaving Carlisle for now, moving into Scotland. I'm going to work on the Glasgow Subway because it's been a while since I've done anything sort of metro based and I want to go back to it for a bit. So I'm going to start in Govan because that's where I've got the map focused at the moment. We need to be in a tunnel, probably we're not going to be going lower than this. And I think National Rail does go into tunnels in places, so probably best to be as low as we can be. I'm only going to do sort of 100-metre stations, I think. The trains, I'm not even sure I have the train, but if I do, they're very short trains. I do have the train. Yeah, I mean, we're looking at 38, 40 metres. So even in a 100-metre platform, I mean, what's the 64 metres usable length? Or I could even go down to 80. I'll go down to 60-metre platforms, which is the shortest I can make them. Yeah, let's do that. Govan. What I am going to try and do is push out to 15-metre gaps for every station. What's the next stop? Partick. Should have to make sure to put near enough to where the National Rail station will be so that they join up. So we're looking at, I'm not sure, over here. Here we go. There's the entrance to the National Rail station. That will be there. So Partick will be in this area. Yeah, the underground station, I mean, there. There we go. That's where we want it. I have to make sure it's far enough down here that it will be underneath the National Rail platforms at that end. 61 metres. 15. Name it correctly. And then the next stop, Kelvin Hall. So the Glasgow Subway, for those not in the know, it is Glasgow's first and only underground line. It is one circle. I have no idea where I'm going for this. Problem is, with a map of a city, is there's not a great deal of obvious landmarks. And everything's a grid, so it all looks the same. I have really no idea where I'm looking at. Oh, I think it is this junction. So it comes down this road, then curves over there, and then the Kelvin Hall is here. Worked it out. Yes, so the Glasgow Subway is a single loop of line. The only bit above ground is the depot. As I understand it, from the brief bit of research I've done in the past, the idea was lots of underground lines, and then they determined that the ground is too unstable for that, so underground lines were decided against in the future. It uses a slightly smaller, I'm just trying to map out where I'm going again. It starts curving there and comes across that junction. So it's there that the station is. Yeah, it's got a slightly smaller gauge than other lines. As such, I should probably be using a special track, but oh well. And it's got very small tunnels. But the trains are very cute if you see them in real life. It's currently getting new rolling stock. I'm not sure if I've got the new or old one. That looks like the new one to me. Although that says it's the old one, so what do I know? It's the old one. Let's go with that. Kelvin Bridge is across the river. That's useful. That actually locates it for me. It's there. It's a bit time consuming having to spread out the platforms at every station, but the line isn't the longest in the world. So Kelvin Bridge, St George's Cross is then down here. Make the platform the right length. Spread them apart. St George's Cross. How far around the loop am I? I've got quite a way to go. Cowcaddens and Buchanan Street next. So Cowcaddens is, by the looks of it, here. So just shrink that down, spread them apart, name it. I'm going to get the vast majority of the pronunciations along this line completely wrong, and it will just continue the entire way through Scotland. I don't understand the vast majority of Scottish pronunciations. Oh, look, it's nicely marked out platforms for Glasgow Queen Street there. I hadn't realised. I knew that the subway didn't really connect very well to the National Rail Network officially. Like, I think Partick is the only actual official interchange station. But Buchanan Street is not exactly far away, is it? And St Enoch is a reasonable distance from Glasgow Central. So fair enough. Glasgow Central is very poorly located. Or, well, I guess St Enoch is very poorly located is more what we should be going for there. Looks like I want to be looking at there for St Enoch. And spread the platforms apart. Done. Did I spread Buchanan Street? Yes, I did. Then we have Bridge Street and West Street. Actually, the station stock gave it all spread out on my map, so it was a bit deceiving. There's less left than I thought there were. So Bridge Street is across the river, but before crossing National Rail. So looks like it's in this gap. So we'll just add that in. Move the platforms apart. Bridge Street. Done. West Street is down over the motorway. It is actually a motorway. Apparently it's the M74. Normally I say motorway and then find out it's just a dual carriageway. Which are not the same thing in the UK. Well, they kind of are. A motorway is always a dual carriageway. A dual carriageway is not necessarily a motorway. Shields Road is down here. Honestly, some of the distances between stations feel quite lengthy, but I don't know if that's just because my stations are so short. And if I had the platforms the length I had them everywhere else on the map, they'd be a bit closer together. I mean, they are actually pretty close, aren't they? If you look at the catchment areas. Not as close as some of the underground stations, but then when you've only got one line... Kinning Park is next to this motorway. How many lanes do you want? All of them. I want all the lanes. So, that in. Move the platforms apart. Kinning Park. Cessnock is, who knows, there by the looks of it. Ah, it's got the station name right. I think that's the first time it's got it right. So that's something. And then Ibrox, and then we're back at Govan. So Ibrox is where? There, by the looks of it, which is a bit of a weird place, but I mean, who am I to judge? I've never been to Glasgow, so how would I know? Which I have been to Glasgow once. Well, I'm not sure we stopped. Okay, let's start connecting track. We'll start from Govan and head round, because it's the bit between Ibrox and Govan is where the depot entrance is, so it's going to be a bit more interesting to set up. Whereas the entire rest of it is just a loop. Well, that's interesting. And then it goes out like that again. You know, it's not quite as just a generic circle as I thought it was. It is displayed on most maps as just on the map I use it's displayed as a circle. Most of the time I think officially it's displayed as an oval. But I think that's just to make it nice for putting station names on. But my map of all stations in the UK and the routes they're on depicts it as a perfect circle, and the entire rest of Glasgow is built around it. I can't even bother to look up where the line actually goes, so I'm just going to kind of go straight there. Feels easiest. Oh, a straight line. It's a rarity. And we sort of... Okay, that looked like it needs to west bend. Actually, I just needed to curve. Bridge Street round to West Street. Then I'll pull that out. West Street along to Shields Road. Shields Road to Kinning Park. Kinning Park to Cessnock. And Cessnock to Ibrox. There we go. Now to work out the depot entrance, which is a bit difficult when my reference just shows me a single track when I know there's two. So I'm going to have to switch to a different reference image for this. Come along there. Actually, I'm going to have to keep using both. So by the looks of it, we're working off of entering the tunnel. I've got this in the wrong place really, but we go down there. And that's on ground level. And then this comes into that, and this one comes up into there. And they switch across. Like so. So I think the first iteration of rolling stock on the Glasgow Subway only had doors on one side because its nature is a circle, and they just built all the platforms so that that would work. So you couldn't turn the trains around, and all the platforms were on the same side. So the trains only needed doors on one side. But then eventually they ended up rebuilding the subway so that some of the stations on the subway, so that there were wider platforms and so on. So now there's doors on both sides. You still can't turn a train around, but so that looks like there's a link to the main line. Feels unnecessary. So this comes down here. It's a bit difficult to work out. I'm gonna just kind of go at a bit random now. I think it's going to be easiest. That's the bit that goes down to almost to the main line. I'm going to make a depot because it's ages since I've made a depot. Although it will take me a second or two to just parent everything up. There we go. Pick parent. just combine everything together. That's not at all what I was going for. I worked out what I did wrong though, so I could do some damage control and fix it. There we go. Then we come off of here and out and into these depot lines. So into there, into there. This one will go there. And this one can split into the final two. Then all I need to do is add in a crossover there. And another one here that I will stretch out a bit. And technically with some reversing you can access every line. It's not strictly speaking accurate, but it'll do. What I am going to quickly do is look up the Glasgow Subway Wikipedia page, which will give me the service pattern. I don't need it for stops or anything, but I want the frequency. How frequently does it run? Doesn't tell me. Ah, here we go. 6:30 to 23:40, Monday to Saturday. Trains run every 6 to 8 minutes during off-peak periods. Well, that's useful. 6 to 8 minutes. So, should I go with, what, like 12 trains an hour? No. What is it? Every 6 minutes, which would be the most frequent, would be 10 trains an hour. Okay, let's set up a line. I'll only do one direction, I'll do the other way off camera. We've got Glasgow Subway. Also, I need to copy that orange. Put prices in. It's a subway, so... or a metro. That's not what I wanted. Every 6 minutes. That's what we agreed on. Yeah, 40-second dwells because it's a metro. Govan, Partick, whoever that is. What I am going to need, because I know how loops work now, is some signals. Especially, well, I might as well put them at the depot entrance where I'm going to need signals anyway. Makes sense, doesn't it? There we go. Almost round. What I'm going to do is put the signals in first, because that feels sensible. And signals there, then we'll have them coming out of the depot as well. The leases after those points and after those ones. Make that and that and that always, and we're done. So back to the line. Let us purchase, well, I'm going to need more than that, but we'll purchase 4 to start with. See the duration. And it looks like we're going to need 0, 6, 12, 18, 24, 30 trains. So that's 6 trains. Actually, that's not as many as I expected. So we'll just buy another 2. And set it to full frequency. Up the game speed a bit, and off the trains go. They'll have a 2.5-3 minute dwell at Govan to keep up the spacing. And apart from that, they're pretty much set. So they stay about 2.5 stations apart by the looks of it. The stations are reasonably evenly spaced, so. So I'll leave it here. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe if you enjoyed and want more, and I'll catch you in the next one.